First thing on the list is stat squish. We got less HP on players and creature health, damage, healing, item level, and stats on items. The squish will not affect player character levels. So we're getting a squish, and combat is changing very much. So they're gonna prune a lot of abilities that are modifiers. Like Sub Rogue, it used to have like 5 modifiers to get maximum damage, which did like the same amount as pretty much other people, and they're taking away the modifiers so you can line up your CC easier with your damage. So that's just an example, and they're doing it across every single class in Spec. All right, so diminishing returns is going to be different as well. Big change for PvP. So there's going to only be 2 maximum DRs for each CC category. So we'll only have 2 DRs for stuns, so you can only do it twice, which is huge. I think it's a good thing. I think that micro CC is not fun gameplay. Nobody wants to sit there and not move their character, right? And that even goes for any other game. For me, this is really good. Even as a sub rogue player, I think it's fine having 2 DRs, and I'll be CC'd less and I can play the game more. They also change it to reset after 16 seconds, so it'll be faster. So that with the stat squish and some of the damage profile changes, it's gonna be completely different combat. All right, so we're gonna go through the class changes real quick. So they removed Cold Blood and added Cold-Blooded Killer. So instead of getting guaranteed crit whenever you press a button, it's 20% chance to get the 100% crit. So you have to look for the buff if you use this. Okay, we got a new talent, Swift Slasher. Slice and dice grants additional attack speed equal to 100% of your haste. So this is another thing that I'm not a big fan of, but they're introducing more secondary stat effects. So they're wanting you to stack some haste instead of mastery. So I don't like that. We get this talent now, which hopefully we don't have to stack too much haste, but I did see like a few things that like alacrity, haste increased. Also like on Subtree, haste affects the cooldown rate of Shadow Dance. So it's a little bit ridiculous. So you can like, I don't know how we're gonna gear. I wish we could just stack as much mastery as possible and be done with it. But now we have to have haste. I'm not a fan of that, but yeah. Cheap Shot has a 12-second cooldown, but on sub, whenever you activate Shadow Dance, you get a free Cheap Shot and it ignores cooldown. So when you cast Shadow Dance, you can Cheap Shot, Cheap Shot, Cheap Shot 3 times still, but it has a 12-second cooldown. So you can't Cheap Shot 4 times, but you can 3 times. So you can still like Cheap Shot off target if you need to, if you don't have a kidney, and then you can double Cheap Shot the target. Okay, so Supercharger now triggers upon activating Kingsbane as the Assassination spec. It was Shiv, so you don't have to shift for that anymore. So this PvE talent, Airborne and Irritant, no longer does AoE blinds, and we don't really care about that. Okay, Acrobatic Strikes has been moved to Outlaw only and removed Cold Blood. Disloyalty is no longer a modifier either. You just get energy now, which is great because it procced by itself all the time. For Assassination, a lot has changed as well. So we don't get Master Assassin. We don't get Cold Blood anymore because we won't have it on demand anymore. So our Kingsbane might not crit now. Also, we don't get Indiscriminate Carnage, so no more AoE silences. So you can only silence one person at a time, so one global. It's not an AoE silence anymore. Unless because we don't get Indiscriminate Carnage, we have something else. We have a Crimson Tempest. Copy the longest garrote and rupture on the enemies you hit onto up to 2 other enemies. So this is how you do AoE instead of Indiscriminate Carnage. If you silence and have Subterfuge up and then cast Crimson Tempest, does that copy the silence or no? Is the question. But possibly not AoE silences anymore. But this is how we spread We don't have to use Vanish offensively. You Groat and then spread it with Crimson Tempest. Okay, so this is different. You don't get big Groats in stealth, so also another thing, you don't have to Vanish to get big Groats anymore. You could just cast it and have it big already, but it generates 2 more combo points when used from stealth. So we already get big Groats. Don't need to Vanish. Don't need to worry about that. Just Groat, Rupture, Crimson Tempest, and have full bleeds going. You don't have to Vanish. Okay, so for the modifiers, you no longer have to Shiv first in your rotation to get your big damage going. So what you do is you Deathmark, it gives you 10% increased damage while it's active, and you press Kingsbane and then Envenom. And then there's things that make Envenom more strong the more you use it as well. There are strong new rewards for maintaining unbroken strings of Envenoms. So you want to bank energy, then stretch every Envenom to its limit to keep the pressure on your target. So you get 5 combo points for casting Kingsbane. For burst, you have full combo points, maybe a kidney shot with full bleeds going, Deathmark, Kingsbane, then that gives you Supercharger, and 5 combo points, then you mutilate, Envenom, mutilate, Envenom, and then mutilate, Envenom 3 times. Okay, so for Zoldyck recipe, your other nature damage is increased as well against targets below 35%. So if they're below 35% and you Kingsbane them, it's like plus 35%. And Envenom as well. So before it was just your poisons and bleeds. If you have a big Darkest Night Envenom going under 35, it's going to be insane. So this is removed. Shiv no longer does 200% increased damage. So this is removed as well. So we no longer have that modifier. We don't have to Shiv for them to have more bleed damage going. So it's all just going to be kind of more linear damage, and then you can focus on Kingsbane and Venoms. No more indiscriminate carnage. Okay, no more Master Assassin. So this is being removed. No more crits. Okay, this is good too, because you don't have to worry about having 50% more energy. So we no longer have this in the game anymore. In Midnight, no more serrated bone spikes. No more tiny toxic blade. Twist the knife is gone. Also, vicious venoms is no longer here either. So we can get extra crit from finishing moves. Okay, so next expansion, we won't have the 2 set. So Kingsbane won't activate Edge Case, which we still have that, but it will only be on Deathmark, right? So Edge Case, activating Deathmark flips a Fatebound coin, causing it to land on its edge, counting as both heads and tails. So it'll still have that 1000 damage because of the stat squish. So it'll still have that damage. So here's an example of stat squish that says 1000 damage, and in game it says 600,000. So it's going to be way different. Okay, so the things that we're losing are Double Jeopardy, Fateful Ending, and Inevitable End. Let's see, Double Jeopardy is here, so they're no longer guaranteed to match the same outcome after breaking stealth for the first time. So we don't get that. Fateful Ending. Okay, so that's the capstone for Hero Talents. So we get a lucky coin still, but it's a little bit different. Let me see. So instead of dealing cosmic damage, if you already have a lucky coin, it increases the damage bonuses of your coins. And coin flips are 50% more likely to match the same face. So you're more likely to do extra damage instead of it's just doing cosmic damage. Also, the agility is nerfed a little bit as well. I don't know how much of a nerf that is with the stat squish, but yeah. So we're also getting rid of Inevitable End. Inevitable End is up here on the top. Cold Blood now benefits the next 2 abilities, but only applies to Envenom. Okay, so instead we're getting Overflowing Purse. Assassination Envenom has a 15% chance to flip 3 Fatebound coins. Wow, okay. So you're going to be flipping coins like crazy, and with lucky coins, you'll get more likely to flip the same face. Chosen's Revelry. Flipping a Fatebound coin restores 124 health. Interesting. Or Tempted Fate, you have a 30% chance to absorb 10% of any damage taken. Okay, so that's different. Okay, Deal Fates, pretty much the same. Delivered Doom. Okay, so Delivered Doom is different. It used to be whenever Fatebound coin flips tails, it's increased by 30% if there's no other enemies near the target, and it's reduced by 6% for each additional nearby enemy. Now it's going to be Envenom just deals 5% more damage when they consume 5 or more combo points. So it's a little less complicated, something you don't have to think about. Just put it on, don't have to think about it. A lot less things you have to think about. Okay, so Mean Streak, let's see. Mean Streak is the same. Fate Intertwine is different. Caustic Splatter causes an additional 10% of nature damage to be dealt to nearby enemies. Caustic Splatter is applied by Envenom or Kingsbane now instead of Mutilate. So that's a bit different. Okay, so Destiny Defined on the bottom is the same for Assassination, and on the top, they removed Inevitable End because Cold Blood is reworked, and they added Overflowing Purse, which is Envenom has a 15% chance to flip 3 Fatebound coins, which is kind of crazy. Interesting. I wonder what we'll choose. Having 5% increased application chance of our poisons is kind of nice, and having a 5% chance to flip the same face would be nice too. But flipping 3 coins, I wonder if that would be good. Because this gives you, if you have a lucky coin, you're 50% more likely to match the same face. And if you're flipping 3 coins at the same time, that'd be kind of crazy. I don't know. We'll see though. All right, so this is the same as well. So Edge Case, activating Deathmark flips a coin, causing it to land on his edge, counting it as both heads and tails. That's the same. Okay, so this is different. We're losing double jeopardy, and we're getting rushed to inevitable. Gain 5 energy every time you flip a Fatebound coin. Gain 15 energy for coins that land on their edge. So maybe Overflowing Purse would be really good for energy. But yeah, I can see that being actually pretty good. And then these are under construction for now. We'll have to go back and see. Hopefully I can get some alpha access. And if not, I'll be on the beta as soon as possible. So for the lucky coin, it's different. It's not going to give cosmic damage if you flip a lucky coin again. What it's going to do is every 7 coin flips, keep a lucky coin that bends you towards your fate for 15 seconds. Your agility is increased by 4 from 7. The damage and bonuses of Fatebound coins are increased by a certain percent, and coin flips are 50% likely to match the same face. So it's taking away cosmic damage and giving you more coin flips to match the same face. And it gives you more coin damage as well. So yeah, flipping more coins would be really nice to get that more and more. Okay, so that's it for Fatebound Assassination Rogue. I'm going to look at Deathstalker. Really good thing that they should have done the first season of The War Within. They added Garrote instead of Ambush to apply Deathstalker Mark, which is making a lot of sense to do instead of Ambush. Garrote applies 3 stacks of Deathstalker's Mark to your target, unless Deathstalker's Mark and Darkest Night are already active. So that's different. If you have it active, then you can't apply it, which is, I want to see if you apply it to the wrong target, if you have to target them or not. Or if you apply it to the wrong target and then Garrote another target, will it transfer the marks or not? Because if it doesn't, then it's kind of like if you mess up, then you mess up for a long time and you're stuck. I hope that they make it to where you're not stuck if you accidentally Garrote the wrong target, or like if you want to silence a target with Garrote and then swap stun Garrote, hopefully that will transfer the marks to a different target. But we'll see, because it says already active and not active on the target, you know. So also what's different is if you spend 5 or more combo points on the target, you consume an application of the mark, and then when you spend 5 or more combo points, you activate Darkest Night. So instead of having to have full combo points to get your big envenom, you can just do it at 5. But you want to get full combo points because it's a lot more damage. Okay, so this is different. So instead of after applying the mark, you get extra points. It's just you get more damage instead. Okay, so I don't see Fatal Intent over here, but it could be under construction. It's not in the patch notes either. So in that spot over here is Unshakable Drive. When you consume an application of Deathstalker's Mark, the damage of your next ambush or mutilate is increased by 50%. So that's in that spot. Cloak, bait, and switch reduces magic damage by 15%, so 5% nerf on that. So Hunt Them Down is the same. Corrupt the Blood is different. It just gives you more rupture damage instead. Moment of Despair and Follow the Blood looks to be about the same. Singular Focus damage, it's the same. Lingering Darkness and Symbolic Victory, 30% increased nature damage. So the difference here is for Assassination, instead of Shiv, Kingsbane increases the damage of your next 2 envenoms, instead of Shiv increasing only 1 envenom. Shadewalker, Shroud of Night is the same as well. You gain energy from using Darkest Night with 5 or more combo points, so you don't have to cap your combo points to proc it. And yeah, you get 60% damage and applies Deathstalker's Mark. And we'll see if it locks you into one target or not. If it locks you into one target, it might be a little bit annoying, but we'll see.